Could a single resource ignite a chain reaction of conflicts across an entire region? In Afghanistan, where rugged landscapes meet political ambition, the struggle for control over precious water resources is escalating into a potential crisis that could entangle the nation in wars with nearly all its neighbors. As the Taliban tighten their hold on power, Afghanistan finds itself at a pivotal moment, where the fight for vital rivers could spark confrontations with Iran, Turkmenistan, Uzbekistan, and more. Join us as we delve into the story of how Afghanistan might be on the brink of conflict with every nation around it over the lifeblood of the region, water. Let's begin with Iran, where tensions over the Helmand River have simmered for decades. The river begins high in the Hindu Kush mountains of Afghanistan and flows westward into the Hammoon wetlands, which straddle the border between the two countries. These wetlands are crucial to Iran's Sistan and Balochistan province, a remote and arid region. This area shares its name with the larger Balochistan region, most of which lies across the border in Pakistan. The Baluch people, who inhabit these regions across Iran, Afghanistan, and Pakistan, have long harbored separatist ambitions. Any disruption to their water supply could inflame tensions and drive further unrest. In the 1960s, Afghanistan began constructing dams on the Helmand River at Kajaki and Grishk, aiming to generate hydroelectric power and support irrigation. However, these projects also significantly reduced the flow of water downstream into Iran. To address the issue, the two countries signed the Helmand River Water Treaty in 1973. The treaty required Afghanistan to allow at least 850 million cubic meters of water to flow into Iran annually. But history had other plans. Shortly after the treaty was signed, Afghanistan was plunged into turmoil by the Communist Revolution in 1978, followed by decades of war and shifting governments. Iran, too, underwent a transformation with the Islamic Revolution in 1979. The result? The treaty was never fully implemented, leaving both nations in a prolonged dispute over the Helmand River's water. When the Taliban first came to power in the 1990s, they exacerbated the situation by closing the sluice gates of the Kajaki Dam in 1998, cutting off much of the water flow to Iran. This act, combined with the Taliban raid that killed 8 Iranian diplomats, nearly brought the two countries to war. Iran massed 200,000 troops on the border, and the Iranian Supreme National Security Council even voted in favor of war. It was only the intervention of Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, that prevented a full-scale invasion. Fast forward to 2021, and the Taliban have once again seized control of Afghanistan. Iran has accused the new regime of continuing to restrict their water supply, with Iranian officials claiming that only 4% of the agreed-upon water is reaching Iran, just 27 million cubic meters out of the 850 million promised. Tensions escalated to the point that in May 2023, a deadly skirmish broke out at the Afghan-Iranian border, leaving 2 Iranian border guards and 1 Taliban fighter dead. Although the situation calmed down, the Taliban continue to hold back water, keeping the possibility of a water war alive. The mighty Amu Darya River, one of Central Asia's most vital water sources, could soon become the flashpoint for another conflict, this time between Afghanistan and the Central Asian states of Turkmenistan and Uzbekistan. The Amu Darya's headwaters lie in the mountains of Tajikistan and Afghanistan, forming Afghanistan's northeastern border with Tajikistan, Uzbekistan, and Turkmenistan, before flowing into the nearly dried-up Aral Sea. Throughout the 20th century, the Soviet Union and Afghanistan made several agreements concerning the Amu Darya, but none addressed water-sharing rights. The Soviet Union regulated water distribution among its own republics, assuming Afghanistan would use only minimal amounts But today, the Taliban have different plans. In early 2022, just months after retaking power, the Taliban began constructing the Kosh-Tepe Canal, a massive project that will divert water from the Amu Darya to irrigate the arid lands of northern Afghanistan. The canal, once completed, will stretch 285 kilometers and is expected to convert 550,000 hectares of desert into productive farmland. The Taliban plan to divert 10 cubic kilometers of water per year, a figure that experts believe could actually be much higher due to inefficiencies like seepage and evaporation. This massive diversion is a direct threat to Turkmenistan and Uzbekistan, which rely heavily on the Amu Darya for their water supply. Turkmenistan, for instance, uses the Karakum Canal to divert 13 cubic kilometers of water annually across its desert, providing water to its capital, Ashgabat, and supporting its agricultural sector. Uzbekistan also depends on the river for its vast cotton farms, which have turned the country into one of the world's top cotton producers. If the Taliban proceed with their plan to divert a significant portion of the Amu Darya's water, it could cut the flow to Turkmenistan and Uzbekistan by nearly half, devastating their agriculture and water supplies. Both countries face the existential threat of water shortages, which could lead to widespread instability and even conflict. The Taliban's motivations for the Kosh-Tepe Canal are not purely economic. Northern Afghanistan, where the canal is being built, is home to ethnic Tajiks and Uzbeks who have historically resisted Pashtun-dominated Taliban rule. By creating new farmland and settling loyal farmers, the Taliban hope to strengthen their control over the region and diminish the influence of groups like ISIS-K, which remains a significant threat in the north. However, this gamble could backfire spectacularly. Turkmenistan and Uzbekistan must carefully weigh their options, do nothing and risk internal turmoil as their water supplies dwindle, or confront the Taliban and risk plunging Central Asia into a new era of instability. As Afghanistan teeters on the brink of multiple potential conflicts, it faces an uncertain future. The Taliban's refusal to negotiate water-sharing agreements, their support for militant groups like the Pakistani Taliban, and their hardline domestic policies have alienated them from much of the international community. The specter of another civil war looms large, with ISIS-K posing a growing threat both inside Afghanistan and beyond its borders. Moreover, the Taliban's aggressive water policies have set the stage for conflicts with Iran, Turkmenistan, Uzbekistan, and potentially even Tajikistan. With so many flashpoints and so much at stake, it may only be a matter of time before Afghanistan's simmering tensions boil over into a full-blown regional crisis. Subscribe to Truth, revealed to stay intrigued and informed.